Well, it is 11 o'clock. So I'll call the Parks Commission to order. First item on the agenda will be the approval of the last minutes. Chair would entertain a motion to do so.
There are no additions or corrections, move they be accepted.
Support.
Discussion. Any additions, corrections, or deletions of those minutes? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Third item on the agenda is the finance reports.
You will find your finance reports in your packet, starting with your operational budget. You will see revenues in the amount of just under 25,000, and you'll see expenses just over 108,000. I want to take note of the professional contractual, because that's where you're seeing this fund, if you will, a little upside down. You'll see under that 801 professional contractual line that is 74, just under 75,000. That is actually the amount for the musical equipment at Gerber Park. So the final FSR for the MISTA grant has been submitted to MISTA, and that has been approved. So we should be receiving those funds, writing that account very soon.
Very good.
Right. And then moving on to your capital fund. You will see that you have two projects in Gerber Park currently open, the pavilion and the electrical for the pavilion. And you have a balance available for future projects of 111,000. If there are any questions, I will attempt to answer those.
Questions? We'll move down to parks updates. Parks monthly report. It's kind of a new thing for me.
So just a few highlights from the parks. Gerber's had a lot of work done. The pavilion roofing should be complete. If they have anything left to do, it's just on the outhouse. Electrical has been run to the north side, but we're still waiting to get bore run to the south side. Story walk was installed, which I've included a picture in the next section. Iron Lake, the dock is going to be removed next month. Medina had a water line break, which we repaired. Those are the main things.
Okay. Item B is the Gerber Story Walk.
This is the picture I was talking about. So we incorporated the story walk into the musical playground. I think they went together really nicely. This picture doesn't show the actual storybook that they put in the displays, but those are out there now too, which you'll see when we go out there.
So the story walk is on the north side, correct?
Yeah.
Are we gonna have a picnic on the north side? Mr. Daly, you'll be able to go Bill's on, because that's level there.
Yes, I'll be there.
All right, very good. Yes,
And just a reminder for everyone that we will have a ribbon cutting this evening at 5 o'clock, as well as a picnic. And MISTA and Great Start will be joining us for that ribbon cutting.
glad you brought that up. Who's turn? Oh, did she say it's turn? Mishnah,
And Great Start Collaborative.
there are two people that have to do with it. We call them the grandkids. Along the lines of cutting ribbon, somebody kind of off to the side said, well, Ralph, will you cut the ribbon? I want, for my part, I want Dan Burton to cut the ribbon. Dan's been in the parks thing. Dan's been with us in parks for year after year after year. And has found funds for us throughout that time. Done a wonderful job. Never hardly ever even raises his voice. And I think it's just fitting that you cut the ribbon and I. Thank you. You bet. So we get the ribbon cutting guy all taken care of. No, you need.
Mr. Gerber will be pleased. When he was alive, he enjoyed writing kids out his plays, to play on the hero. And he also had a wagon. He would lead the kids on the wagon and drive them around his farm. So, I think he told Larry Gould, he was wondering what would happen to his farm when he was gone. And Larry said, well, talk to Dan. Dan can help with this. He said, Festival Park, and he said, that's great.
That's
So he
good.
donated the whole farm to the county. And, the maintenance guy was out there when he was driving his John Deere. The maintenance guy said, boy, that's a nice tractor. Larry said, when I'm done with it, you can have it. And he donated the John Deere. I don't know whatever happened to that John Deere. Still around? Huh? Sure. Mr. Gerber was fine.
And he always raised sweet corn. He'd sell sweet corn to markets occasionally, so. So we'll see you at 5 o'clock. All right. Next item is a bicentennial county request discussion.
So this is a proposal brought to us by the Onset Community Recreation Committee, who's being represented by Kim Barber, who has joined us today. They propose using Bicentennial Park for their soccer practices and league games, U15 soccer games. They propose striping the field, and they've offered to replace the nets as well. Practices would be held twice weekly, and then games would be held on Saturdays. They've informed us that they have insurance on their players and that they've added the county to their insurance policy. They'll work with us to make sure that private citizens who still want to use the park on the weekends will be able to. They'll be able to schedule around people who have reserved the park. And they also ask that we extend the park season to late October to accommodate their games. This is the main ask of theirs, is to extend the park season, keep Bicentennial open till late October. We don't see a problem with that. We usually maintain the park late into the fall season anyways. As long as the grass grows, we'll be cutting it. We would still,
We're saying before it was a park, no. Mr. Bruce, invite and have the soccer players come out there. Soccer has been a tradition there even before it was a county park. That makes sense.
yes, yeah, there have been organizations that use the soccer field in the past. So we would consider sort of this as a trial season. Let them use it till October of this year and see how they are, and then maybe continue with this for the foreseeable future. If there's any questions, I or Kim would be happy to answer them.
I would like to just make note that this is for fall season only. The spring is just way too wet at Bicentennial, and we would not be able to accommodate them in the spring. This would be for fall only.
So this would not run in the summer, just fall.
Well, they have a spring and fall season, but like Rob said, the park is, at least the soccer field is almost unusable in the spring, so it would just be fall. Their season is, I believe, September through late October.
Correct.
Want to step up to the mic?
Hi, my name's Kimberly Barber. I've been working with Tommy. So our first season game is on September 6th, and our last is, I believe, October 25th. It's late October, which is why we requested the park to stay open. I'm from Onstead. We don't have land for soccer. It's been a struggle. It really has. I didn't know Bicentennial Park was there, and I drive by it all the time. Me and the soccer committee went and we saw the park, and we sat down in the middle of the permanent U15 field there, and we're like, wow. It was like dreams come true, you know, like the birds were chirping, and you're like, this would be a perfect place for soccer. Any other questions? Sorry, I'm nervous.
Yes, Jim.
You know, originally I had some questions about this. We had some conversation. And I was concerned because of the opening and closing of the park and the staff level. But if they've worked this out with the, physical resources people, and they keep in communication with them and, we have an open dialogue, I think it's a great use of the park.
You have a location for the spring season?
We'll figure it out. Honestly, it's like, I want to personally see how bad it does get flooded, because I can imagine that, you know, it can get flooded more towards the farming area, right? Well, we can purchase, one of those water things where we would pull it along, it would push the water off of the fields, you know? Right now, we're using any land that we can possibly get our hands onto for soccer. And a little bit of water, honestly, I'm sorry, like, avoid that area during practice. Hopefully it's cleared up by the games on Saturdays. If it's not, we just cancel the game and we reschedule on a cleaner date. You know, we preserve the fields. We don't want to tear them up. We do cancel practices and games due to standing water sometimes on our current fields.
Jim?
And I think a lot of that has to do with how wet it is in the spring, what kind of season we have. You know, we could have a very dry season, so. But they would have to work out the arrangements, because right now it's just for the fall, I guess. So, and they would have to work it out with, physical resources.
Shannon?
I just want to note as well that the Building and Grounds Department is also creating a signed agreement with the Onset Community Recreation Committee for those expectations of both sides to mitigate any kind of concern of, you know, again, expectations for the use of the park.
We will also be supplying an additional porta potty for the park to accommodate the extra people that go there. You know, we want to make sure, especially when it comes to parking, it's a small park for parking. We plan on putting some signs up on game days to ensure that people can get in and out efficiently, making it extremely clear to our away teams that there is absolutely no parking allowed on the grass. There will be consequences for your actions. Please conserve the land.
Yeah.
So do we have a copy on file of being added insured, and what is the limits of their policy? Because we know who has the deep pockets here.
Yes.
I'd spoken to Kim about that, and she has contacted the insurance company to have us added, and then once she gets that, she'll be able to provide copies of it to us.
Yes, we had a big event in Onstead over the weekend, so all of our resources were kind of piled up into trying to get this. We did a bash down in Onstead, free for the community, so we were kind of focused on that. Now that is over, it's contacting the insurance agency, and that can be added same day. It's just the president of OCRC. Overstressed was the event this weekend. And stressful. There is one thing that I wanted to ask about. So the U15 field that is at Bicentennial Park, it has permanent field goals on there. I know someone who can weld one of the structures back together because it is kind of breaking apart, no big deal. We'll replace the nets, but this season we've had the largest all season on record. We have about 100 kids signed up. And for Onstead, that's pretty good. I know I went back and forth in regards to U15 and U12 using the field. I want to bring back up, I'm sorry, our U12 team also using the field. So this would mean we would be there 4 nights a week, and there would be tentatively 2 games on Saturdays. But again, if it's booked, we have home field advantage. We schedule our own time. Both of our practices, all of our practices are done after school hours. So like a 6 to 7 type of thing. So I know the park closes at 8. We'll be out of there by 8. But with the land and with Onstead right now, we were kind of hoping if we could consider using it for U12. If we did consider using it for U12, that means we would bring in an additional set of goals. Again, OTRC, we own the goals. We will bring everything needed to maintain everything. The U12 field would sit inside of the U15 field. And then at the end of the day, we would just take the gold and kind of move them off to the side. Because again, I want the community to still be able to use it. So if someone shows up wanting to use the U15 gold, we're not in the way.
Well, you asked for a day occasionally to play soccer, and now you're asking for 80%. Not after the fact, but close to after the fact. And I don't think that park should be used for Onstead on 4 out of 5 nights a week, or 6. We'll give you Saturday, which is 2/3 of the time. And if somebody else needs it, you'll work around it. You haven't got any time to work around it, because you're gonna use it 4 nights a week.
We would reschedule practice. Host practice at our U10 field at the park, host practice at the church. You know, there are ways, but it was just a question. I know right now we're discussing U15, so it's okay to say no to U12 and more time. I understand.
I don't know, I think we got 7 school districts. When I was a kid, I didn't care much about school, so I didn't care how many districts we had. But Adrian, Tecumseh, Onstead, Sand Creek, Hudson, Canada, okay?
Loving with
I see.
Lenawee Christian.
Okay. So I can see where this is gonna get into a long-term situation before we even get started. I don't like it. I don't like that part of it. We've got part of it into native grass that nobody dares step on because it might step on a flower. It's too bad we haven't got some of that we could use for something besides beauty. But the insurance point, I think that's it. It needs to be a starting day and an ending day. And we've been in this insurance thing for a long time. And it all starts around the airport. And the liability insurance, and so much of special interest people decide they need the airport. And they got a buddy in the insurance business, and he says he'll take care of it. And he's lying through his teeth because they don't take care of it. I have been here a long enough period of time, so I know most all the insurance people. that needs to be tightened. Might as well, and it has gotten tighter at the airport, which it needed to be. Needs to be very, very tight to make sure that we are covered regardless. Not by somebody say so. I think we need paper.
I'll make sure before we start practice, insurance will be filed and there, you guys will receive a copy. I don't plan on letting those kids onto that field until we are in the clear.
That's fine. That's what we need. And we need it before we get started. It's just a matter of business. Our insurance, to give you a little example. I'm gonna say 10 years ago, was about $740,000 to carry our liability. Since then, we did do some changing, and it is now probably near 540. But it is not somebody saying, oh, well, it's okay. I got a real estate license and I can write insurance and I'll take care of it. Saying it's one thing, do it is another. And we're within an organization and we need to make sure it's done. Shannon.
As I stated earlier, Building and Grounds is currently working with Onstead with a signed agreement between the both parties. Once the insurance certificate is supplied to the county, I will run that through the county's liability insurance company to ensure that we have met what we need to meet to protect the county.
Yeah, I'd be right with you, Terry.
I have a few
They
questions.
mentioned through October 29th, so I would expect that not to run past November 1. Yes, Terry.
I have a few questions here, if I could. I assume this is an ongoing program?
Yes.
Where have you been playing and practicing?
We were using the school, but the way we normally don't have a U15 team. This season we do. The school's varsity soccer team, the boys, this is
Okay.
their season. And Coach Zelen, he uses his practice field for that. So normally we would use the practice field for our U15 games and whatnot. But come the fall, when the boys are playing, it's kind of off limits because Zelen uses the practice field and the main field versus in the spring, the girls coaches, she allows us to use the varsity practice field. And of course, we're at their whim, if Coach Zelen wants to use it, he can use it. I'm not gonna step on anybody's toes.
You're effectively getting bumped out by the school team.
It,
Okay, if I understand this, you want U15, 2 days of practice and games. U12, 2 days of practice and games. Are these days of practice going to be separate days, a total of 4 days of practice? So you'll schedule all games for 15 and 12 on Saturday?
No, we would buffer them. So we get home field advantage. Once we get the schedule back from, our league, we'll know what our home games are. So my number one fear is parking. So if both games were to fall on the same day, we would schedule them so that there is a buffer between the first game and that second game by at least minimum an hour to allow people to leave and come in. That's one of my concerns.
Are all the parks going to stay open this late or just this park?
I mean, we could extend the season for all the parks and it'd just be kind of up to our discretion when we believe they should close due to
Based on
weather.
the
Yeah.
weather. Just one final, and it's just a comment. This field that we're talking about that has existing goalposts is designed for soccer, right? That's what it's supposed to be for, is soccer. Do we get much play now from ragtag bunches coming in?
If there's any like organization that uses it, I'm unaware of it, but people do go
Or
out,
it's just pickup soccer that
probably, yeah.
if it happens?
Yeah.
So normally the field is not used that much as a soccer field. But it's designed as a soccer field. So if it's designed as a soccer field, let's have some use out of it.
Jim,
Okay, so my only concern, because this
See
could,
how it works out, right? I said, you're right. Go ahead to the non-stick and see how it works out. I mean, it's there to use. And if we keep it open a little longer in the autumn, fine, that's what it's there for. It's not there to be closed and look bad, but to be used.
Jim,
my only concern is there a cost associated with this? Because, you know, we could open up new areas here. Okay, so, I mean, you got Saturday work, you got evening work, so, what's the cost associated with this?
So, as I mentioned earlier, we still maintain the parks past the technical season of the parks.
But I don't think you're out there working after hours, are you?
We wouldn't be there when they're there at all. We would still be working 8 to 4:30 as normal.
So who's gonna open and close the park?
Currently, no one does at Bicentennial. We don't have a caretaker.
And how about Saturday?
It'd be the same. We don't have anyone to close them.
So, I mean, basically then what we're saying is we're gonna just have to leave the park open until the end of the soccer season. Okay. So, want to make sure because other people come to other parks and they want to open up on the evenings or weekends, we have to consider it.
I'd also like to add real quick, in terms of costs, that we would still plan on shutting down water and power September 1st, Labor Day. So that wouldn't be extended for them.
Excuse me. Yes, from a facility standpoint, we had met with administration to discuss this issue, and to, entertain the notion of having the U15 team play there on Saturdays and have practices twice a week. And in my mind, we're still able to accommodate the Onstead soccer program and accommodate the people who use the park for what they like to use the park for, to go for walks, walk their dogs, do those kind of things. It was kind of a mix. My fear is that if we have this new addition with a new group of people practicing the other 2 days a week, that we're going to kind of push out some of the people that like to enjoy the park, just as a nature park, which is also part of its intention. I was on board with the trial period for the U15 to see how it worked, but I'm just a little concerned that we're maybe biting off a little more than maybe we need to, and kind of forcing some other people into situations where they're not going to be able to use the park in the way that they would like to use it. It's just, it's obviously at the commission's vote here, but I'm just expressing maybe some concerns that I have from our standpoint.
yes, Terry.
Do I assume that some of the parents, coaches, whatever, bring munchies, will they be using the
Concession.
not concession,
Pavilion?
will they be using the pavilion during these times?
No, for the most part, for soccer practice, parents drop their kids off and leave, honestly.
What about games?
Games, they stay. So I can see a couple maybe hanging out underneath the pavilion if it's raining, but for the
Just-
most part, they're just where the game is going to be, maybe they want to go walk the field, because it is a beautiful park.
You'll play there only on home games, so it won't be every Saturday?
No, not be every Saturday.
Beth and then Jim.
Okay. And did you say that practice is only 1 hour?
Yeah, so for our U12 team, we practice 1 hour. Our U15 team practices about an hour and a half because, they're borderline varsity.
Yeah.
So the next step up for them is varsity, and varsity boys practice like 2 hours a day, every day a week. We're not that into soccer here. We love soccer. We're just not, yeah.
I was a crazy wrestling mom, so, but it's totally fine. So thanks for that though.
Yeah,
I appreciate your comments, Rob, that it's the commission's final decision, but we hire professional people like you two to manage our business, and I think hopefully this committee, along with the rest of the commission, takes the lead from this committee because you're the people that are managing it, and I think if they work out, you said they worked out the first program with you, but if the second program doesn't work out, I would certainly hope that as a committee, we look at that and take the lead from those people that are managing the park. So my final comment was, is the second part of it would be negotiated with our physical resources people because they're the ones managing it. So
well, in life and in high school and kids and parents, somebody's gonna have a unique position that they're gonna promote this thing beyond what we talk about here today. Just going over and having a practice, jumping in the car and going home, it ain't gonna last long. They're gonna stretch out. Nobody wants to stay the same. And one thing will lead to another. First thing you know, we'll have signs because we'll have sides, so we're gonna compete. And somebody's gonna come there to walk a dog and find out that one school out of 10, 11 is performing there, is playing there. And one thing gonna lead to another, and the first thing you know, them seats are gonna be full. And people are gonna come and say, why not me? I didn't know that you was gonna furnish a soccer field for me. I wanna sell 10 acres of my ground. I don't need to take care of, I wanna use your soccer field. That's what I'm afraid. So down the road, just remember what I said.
you know, this could go on forever. So my concern is do we have a motion that we're discussing? Because, I mean, I don't even know if this is viable. If we're not gonna have a motion, I mean, we should see if there's a motion support to continue our discussion.
Yeah, I would make a motion that we support the program for the initial year, and then after that initial year, have some discussion as to whether we want to continue, enlarge, reduce, whatever.
Support.
Discussion on the motion.
What's the motion?
Motion is to support.
Very well.
Larry?
Appreciate what Ralph's saying about possibly growing beyond capability. However, Adrian has parks for their program. Christian has location for their program. Tecumseh has parks for their program. Hudson has parks for their program. I believe Morenci has parks for the
King Creek.
many of these school districts, the Creek also, yeah, many of these districts have locations. Apparently Onstead does not. So I don't see it we're going into some huge program. If it did, there are other options that can be approached by the program or by the county or by one of the cities for that matter.
Shannon?
Deputy Superintendent Kaminsky has been working diligently too on, again, these kind of shared expectations between the county and Onstead. And those will be, that document will be signed by the county and by probably Superintendent Benwinzy as well as Onstead, with, again, shared agreements and understanding for this pilot program, if you will, or this pilot season. So at any point in time, if it's determined that the county is incurring some form of harm by any way, by any means, we can cease the program.
Any other discussion?
I support Larry's motion.
I supported you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Updates and other business.
You will find in your packet the proposed capital improvement plan for 2026 through 2030. Wow, that seems hard to say. 2030. So you will see that various upgrades for 2026 are proposed for Ramsdale Park, metal roofing for the house and garage, metal siding for the barn, and gravel for the lot with a $5,000 contingency, bringing the total proposed 2026 CIP Parks plan to $60,000. And the request is for you to recommend approval of the 2026-2030 capital improvement plan for the Parks Division to Personnel, Ways and Means.
Chair would entertain a motion to do so.
So moved.
Discussion on a motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Tell me again the motion.
Not to exceed, well, they didn't say not to exceed, but $60,000 for roofs for the house and the barn. Right?
The whole list.
That would be correct. It's a total of $60,000.
There's,
And that total is for metal roofing for the house and garage, metal siding for the barn, and gravel for the lot with a $5,000 contingency, totaling $60,000.
about that?
Looks like it.
And it was voted on and we got through that, so. We're down to public comment.
Did we vote on that?
Yeah, we did once. You can vote twice if you like.
Right, me again. There's one thing that I forgot to mention when it comes to the park is we do also plan on keeping an eye on the trash. If it's full, we're gonna replace it. We're going to take it out ourselves. Like, we plan on respecting the park wholeheartedly. Before in Onstead, every season, we change positions, we change fields. Not one season have we ever had the same location for each, you know, as you said, Clinton has their parks people. Clinton does the land. We're a nonprofit. We spend 20 hours maintaining those fields. We don't pay anyone to stripe the line. We do that ourselves. You know, Clinton pays someone. All these other schools in the area have dedicated land. Onstead doesn't. So I was hoping to build a relationship for the park. Get more people out there. Nobody in Onstead knows about Bicentennial Park. I'm like, have you heard of this park? And they're like, no. And I'm like, go there. It is beautiful. So I'm really, really hoping to just bring the community together because of this park. And hopefully in the long run, when my kid ages out in 3 years, nobody has to go through what I'm doing in regards to painting land for our kids to play. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, everyone.
Shannon?
I'd like to see clarification on the motion for the use of onset with the Bicentennial Park. Originally, Ms. Barber requested of Building and Grounds that it be U15 and U15 only with 2 nights of practices and games on Saturdays. Today, she amended, and that's the only thing that we have discussed, that administration has discussed with Building and Grounds. And to my knowledge, that is all that's been flushed out between the superintendent and deputy superintendent. Those are the only agreements I've seen thus far. Today, the request was amended to include U12 and increase the amount of games from practices from 2 to 4 with multiple games on Saturdays. It was expressed from the superintendent, the Building and Grounds superintendent, that causes pause for the Building and Grounds department as it may cause some issues. So on the motion, it did not differentiate whether or not we would be moving forward with U15 and U12. So could that be discussed further? That right now, again, the request was amended today's meeting by Ms. Barber to include U12. However, the original request was only to include U15, and that is all that has been vetted through Building and Grounds thus far.
What was the intent of the motion?
15 and 12. But let me pose a question to the staff. If we were to run this for a test year, if you would, does the inclusion of the U12 cause a great deal of concern for you?
From a facility standpoint, no. I think we were only concerned with taking away usage from the rest of the public. However, as we would be extending the season, their games don't start until September.
Right.
The park would normally be closed anyways at this time, so.
And if need be, we've already voted on the motion. But I can amend the previous motion. Actually, I can move that the program include U12 and U15.
You know, point of order, I don't think you can do it in the same meeting.
Shannon?
Technically, there was no age limit listed in the motion. So if you want to move forward with the program as a whole as requested, it could be encompassed in in the original.
Say that again?
Technically, no ages were brought up in the original motion. I believe there, and Ms. Webke, feel free to read the motion back. But the request made here today, in today's meeting by Ms. Barber, was to have practices for U12 and U15 during the weekdays and on weekends. And can you read back the motion?
Yes, the motion made by Commissioner Collins was to approve the use of I included Bicentennial Park for an initial year is what Collins had said. So correct. There was no age described. I needed clarification on, okay, and everybody, are we doing U12 and U15? As far as Robert's Rules of Orders, I don't know how that works.
Yeah, the motion's the motion in the one meeting.
Correct, but the motion doesn't stipulate one or the other. So if Commissioner Collins' intent was to move forward with a collaboration between Bicentennial Park and Onstead, technically they could bring both U12 and U15 on because that was the intent of Onstead. Stated at today's meeting.
I'll let it pass, but I'm not.
Yeah, that'd be typical, but I don't see it causing any great consternation.
It's not an issue, right? So,
Yeah.
so my only question is the Parks Commission, approved the use of the park. But with what the director told us, is the second portion negotiable with the physical resources people? Or are you saying that you're directing the physical resources people to let them do both of them?
I think we're extrapolating out too far, but the intent of the motion was to allow the program as requested, which was inclusive of 15 and 12. And in discussion, it was if management sees a problem with that, then they will come back to this
Okay.
committee, and we will make whatever modification necessary.
Got the intent? Okay. Because it's gonna come back to a question. I want to make sure it's clear here, okay?
Any other discussion on the previous?
You have one from the recording.
She's lost.
I'm following. I just wanted to clarify and understand that if there was an issue, the Buildings and Grounds would come back and report. But the motion seemed to be for an initial period. So do they have to come back in year 2 to ask again for the use, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Any other public comment? That's where we're at. Jim?
Not to drag this issue on, but, I know what the intent of the meeting was, motion was. But the final say in managing the park systems is up to the physical resources people. They run that department. Unless we override that. So they've heard the discussion here today. They know the intent.
Is everybody satisfied?
Aye.
I don't think it's full. I don't think everybody in this committee thinks alike. but the majority thinks alike, and that's what we're interested in, is the majority. But I do want to see the insurance. And I believe Shannon, you'll take care of it. No, no question in my heart about it, but I want to see it. Any other public comment? If there's no other public comment, Chair will adjourn. And have a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Or,
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.